My little brother is actually my fiance's kid. My fiance, 25 male, and myself, 24 female, have been together since we were 17, 18 years old. Honestly, he was always kind, handsome, funny, and everyone used to say I was so lucky to have the whole package. I felt so lucky too. He always treated me with love and respect. So this makes everything just so shocking for me. I have always had a good relationship with my mom. It has always been her and I against the world. My dad died in an accident when I was little. We always joked we are the real-life Rory and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls. My mom dated guys on and off, and they were usually cool, but nothing really past the early stages. Around 4 years ago, my mom told me she was pregnant, which was a huge surprise. My mom was around 42 years old, and although she was sort of dating someone recently, didn't meet the guy, but knew she went on dates, it still was a big shock. She never thought she could be pregnant at her age. She had me when she was super young, unpoised, and I can tell she was stressed and worried. I decided to support her since she has always supported me and tried to reassure her. She then had my brother, who is now 3 years old. I have a close relationship with my brother. I have helped taking care of him since he was born, and I just love the little guy. My fiancé was also always helpful with my brother. We would take him out for ice cream, playground, pool time during summer, etc. But nothing was weird. He was just my then BF, spending time with my brother and I. Now to the how I found out. My fiancé and I lived together since we finished college. My finance was not at home since he was hanging out with friends. But I was home BC, I didn't feel like going out and just wanted to chill on my sofa. At some point during binge watching a series on Netflix, my laptop died, and I was too lazy to go get my charger, so I just took my fiancé's iPad. I know the password but honestly never used it before. The iPad logged in, and I got a bunch of messages pinging, I guess. He hasn't used it in a while too. Anyways, this got my attention, and I went to check it out, and obviously I found everything. My mom's number wasn't under her name, but I recognized the number and verified it with my phone. She was telling him she felt guilty and that I should know. He said he also felt guilty but couldn't lose me, and they fact it up. She said that it was unfair for my brother to never not know his dad, and that if he could live having his son around not behaving like a dad but a brother-in-law. I broke down. What the actual F? There weren't a lot of older messages, just some photos stored of my brother as a newborn, my mom pregnant, and more photos of my brother growing up in an album. I couldn't anymore. I cried for what it seemed ages, and I wait for my BF to come back home. I wish I was one of those women that can pretend and get things together before confronting the cheater. But 30 and tell him in the front, 3:30, and I just gave him the iPad with the conversation opened, and saw his face completely go pale. I asked for an explanation. When? How? Why? And he didn't want to at first, but knew he had to. Apparently a few years back, while I was traveling with some friends' girls, my fiancé and mom had dinner together. This isn't strange since he has been part of the family for so long. Sometimes mom and fiancé would eat together at our place, even if I was busy with sports or out. I did the same with his parents. Somehow unclear how, since he couldn't explain it well, one thing led to another, and they ended up sleeping together. They felt guilty but apparently not guilty enough. BC they slept together 2-3 more times, using the excuse of meeting up to discuss how to tell me. Apparently when my mom got pregnant, they stopped sleeping together and decided to not tell me, since my fiancé loved me and couldn't lose me, and my mom didn't want to lose her daughter. So here we are now, with two of the most disgusting humans. I obviously broke the engagement, told my mom to never talk to me again and move in with a friend. I feel bad for my brother since I really love him, but I can't be around him now. I just can't. I feel like it would remind me of all those times we talked about having kids. I would be his baby mama, only baby mama. We talked about this future since we were 17 years old. So I want to puke every time I think how I was actually taking care of his child with someone else, while still having those dreams. I want to puke. Comments. Comment 1. About the mom saying that she can't believe Op would air dirty laundry. Op should reply with, and I can't believe a trip down memory lane would include you screwing my fiancé several times, but here we are, and then proceed to make a post for friends and family, with the headline why. If you're on the fence, this is what she said to me via text, and leave it at that. Comment 2. This sucks so much for Oop. Imagine being betrayed this bad by the person who raised her, and who is probably the person she was closest to in the world. With that said, I agree with all the actions she took after finding out. I hope she gets some therapy, so she can detangle herself from this mess. Matt's Dawn. As I was afraid, I was indeed confronted near my office this week. I knew this was coming, but thought maybe I had more time. My ex was the person to come find me. Yesterday, after finishing work and walking to where my car was parked, my ex was sort of lingering, waiting around. I thought about running, not gonna lie, but I guess in the moment I felt strong enough to get over with it, instead of having that hanging above my head waiting to be approached again. He asked if we could talk, and I said yes, but I didn't feel like having that conversation over coffee like we were old friends. It felt ridiculous, so I told him to just talk right there. We were in the streets, but somehow it wasn't crowded, but also not completely lonely. Felt right. He basically said sorry 100 times, and that I deserved better. I agreed. He said he did love me, and that he still does, but he would understand why I wouldn't want anything to do with him. He said that if I did in fact consider giving him a chance, that he would go to therapy, alone or together or both, and that he would work hard to win my trust back. I told him it wasn't possible. There was too much damage. This sounds calm when I type it, but in the moment things came out more with louder tone and harsher words. Anyways, he did say that he is in the albeit it was a bit of a blur process of getting custody, partly from my brother, and that he in fact does want to be a dad to him. He said he does not want to be together with my mom, that it was just a stupid mistake. Sure. BC 4 or 5 times mistake is just a random thing. He couldn't explain why he did it in the first place. I think he doesn't even know himself. I asked if he cheated with someone else before. He said no, not sure if to believe it, but he sounded honest. I asked why he didn't come clean, and he said that after he did the deed, he always felt panicked and it hits him that he could lose me, and he just didn't want to. I told him it was meant to be found out, that what was his plan? To have my brother around and ignore their relationship forever. He said he didn't think far enough and that he was basically going with the idea one day at the time type of survival. I asked him if he felt that my mom seduced him. He said it was mutual, which made me want to puke again. I asked if he has any contact with my mom since I found out. He said yes, but mostly about my brother. I didn't elaborate more, and I didn't press for more info on that. He said he told his parents the day before, or the day before that, not sure, Tuesday, about everything. The parents were not happy, but they are glad to start building now a relationship with my brother grandkid. Honestly, all of this felt like a punch in my stomach. I don't know why. The parents wanted to contact me, but he told them to wait till he approached me first, hence why he was here. I said if he started or thought about the custody before I found out, and he said no. But when I found out was like the push. He needed great seems I helped him get his shit together. And this past week he was arranging all of that mess. Why he hasn't tried to see me before. He sounded and looked defeated, but the whole thing made me besides sad, angry. I was mainly depressed before, but now I'm furious. I feel like he is still in an okay place, and he isn't paying for his actions. Beyond me leaving him, he will have my brother, his parents and others, and move on with his life. While I lost everything, I hate it. We parted ways not on a happy note, and I told him to never get near me again. I was done. He asked me to see my brother still, that I was important to him, and tried to guilt trip me, and it worked. But I still think I can't. I don't know much about my mom, and really hope she doesn't come find me anytime soon. BC, I'm fuming right now and won't be able to handle it. I will be contacting my family and friends and finally doing the blasting today. Mayal, I think is about time, and after my talk with him, I got the extra push I needed. Update 2. A lot has happened. I did the blasting, and this is how it went down. I first posted on my family's FB group. We share. This is from my mom's family side. I used inspiration of what you all suggested in my last post, and said something around the lines of us. I want to communicate to you all that my wedding with X has been permanently cancelled, since I found out that my mom and my ex-name had in the last few years a sexual relationship, which resulted in the birth of my little brother. I had no clue of any of this, and I found out about it last week. I won't have moving forward a relationship with an ex mom and ex-name, for obvious reasons. I would appreciate your understanding, and I felt it was only fair to let you know of the situation, since I value transparency and honestly above all. I also included a screenshot of my mother message, what I said to her once I found out, and a message she managed to write back before I blocked her. I didn't open the message till before the blasting. I didn't want to hear her and be persuaded. It exploded. I had family reaching out via text and calling the whole day after the blasting. I would say most were very supportive, and I could tell they were just shocked. There were a few neutral and some suspicious that it wasn't the whole story, and maybe I misunderstood. My grandparents were in the maybe you misunderstood category, which it wasn't surprising since my mom is super close to my grandparents, and like I said before, my mom was always a good mom, so no red flags. I will be moving with a cousin that is more like a sister to me. I haven't reached out to her previously BC. I knew once she knows everyone would. That's why I went to my friend's place. My cousin is devastated on my behalf, and offered I live with her and her 2 kids until I can get my feet on the ground. I accepted and will be moving next week. I'm a bit afraid this will give my mom an easier access to me, but I can't stay at my friend's place forever. I then proceeded quickly to post a similar message from we share most of our friends since high school and local university friends on Instagram. I created a close friend story and tagged most of them too. This went sort of viral in our friend group. Actually, one of my friends sent me my Reddit post and asked if this was me. I confirmed. They were also shocked and speechless. They never thought my ex would even remotely do anything like this. They said he was crazy about you. Oh well. Apparently he went overboard on the crazy part. The group of friends is divided ATM. Some are completely on my side, and some are thinking it isn't the whole truth. I told everyone that reached out that if they don't believe me to ask their friend if he is asking for custody of my little brother. That kinda shut them up for now. My ex deleted his social media apparently. Also, my ex's parents called me like I guessed they would. They were kind to me and were very sorry about everything. I got the feeling they are also overwhelmed and very disappointed. However, it was clear they will be supporting their son. They are very upset at my mother and don't want anything to do with her, but not sure how that will work with my little brother and everything else. They tried to give me info about the custody and what is my ex up to now, but I shut that down quickly and told them I don't want any info. I want to move on. I also asked them to not reach out in the near future, that I needed distance, especially if they will be supporting my ex he is living with his parents at. Also, my ex and my mother, after the blast, were going nuts trying to reach out to me. They tried calling my friend who she blocked them, and reaching out from different numbers. I had to put my phone on silence and ignore everyone. However, my mother sent me a long text from other number, and that was a weird text. She said that I was being cruel, and that she didn't think she raised me that way. She said she thought we had a better relationship than me blasting out laundry like that, without talking to her first, that I didn't have the whole picture. She did mention something that confused me. She said in her long-ass text that the reason she slept with my ex is because he reminded him of my dad. That it was grief, that she didn't mean to use him to heal her pain, but she wasn't strong enough. I don't even know what that means. Like, did she think that my ex looks physically like my dad? Or personality? Or what? I've seen photos of my dad, and well, yay, my ex isn't super different, but also not super alike. I mean, they share brown turdy blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, but that's not so uncommon. I don't see what else. I don't know. That threw me for a loop and honestly makes me want to confront my mom just to know what the hell. From all the things she could say, I was not expecting that. I'm holding on better. I don't cry every hour or want to murder them. But I'm still sad and upset, and it just feels like it isn't my life. That is a big joke or a bad dream, and I will wake up to my normal life. I also need to really start planning my future and start applying for jobs in other cities, or maybe check the possibilities abroad more seriously. I might ask for 2-3 days off work to really get my thought together and do some research. I'm terrified TBH. I feel frozen, but I know I need to start moving. Now, for the next story. Boomer Club fires me from volunteering. Begs me to come back 2 weeks later. There's a fraternal club in the USA that a vast majority of the members are boomers. In my state there are around 100 of these clubhouses alone. My family has been members of this particular one since the mid-40s, with my uncle being one of the former presidents of that club. So with all that in mind, I frequently volunteer around there, anything my uncle asks me to do basically. Most of my volunteering is just cooking for them. Monday nights they want a taco night. Wednesday they want chicken wings. Friday night they want some dinner and a band. I do all the shopping for them with the club's credit card, all the prep, cooking, serving and cleaning, all for free. The only thing I don't do is food running, because they have waitresses that work for tips. About a month ago there was an issue. I was in the kitchen early doing the prep work for the night's dinner. In walks the boomer sporting the traditional boomer outfit. white Reebok sneakers, knee-high socks, jots, a collared polo shirt tucked in, and a fresh I Serve trucker hat. Looks me up and down and says I need to leave as I'm not dressed according to the club's standards. Conversation went like this. Me and what's wrong with how I'm dressed. Boomer, you need to be wearing a collared shirt and can't have any tattoos showing. Keep in mind I'm wearing a plain gray t-shirt, black gym shorts, and a pair of Converse. I'm also heavily tattooed, with 2 full arm and leg sleeves. Me, well, it gets pretty hot in the kitchen. I don't want to get dizzy or sweat a lot, so I'm not covering my tattoos. That rule was made for members in the dining hall anyways, not for kitchen staff or those in the bar area. Boomer, you can either leave and get properly dressed before you come back, or you can just leave as your services won't be welcomed. Okay, cool, I left and went home and played some video games. Didn't finish the cooking, didn't serve that night. Nothing. Had no intention on coming back. Fast forward to this past Thursday. Uncle calls me and said I just got a call from current president, and he said you left abruptly a few weeks ago and haven't been back since. Is everything okay? I explained the situation to him and he said, verbatim, ignore what they told you. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. Right now the kitchen is keeping that place open since the bar's been losing money. Comments. Comment 1. I followed those original posts, and as much as the boomers are doing classic boomer shit, the oop is kind of ridiculous in how he keeps going back for more abuse. Comment 2. I need the next update to be that his uncle started looking into why the bar wasn't making any money. So many people brought that up to him, and he just seemed to ignore it. Something has to be going on there, and I wonder if the treasurer and/or president are in on it. Update 1. To TLDR my last post, social club run by boomers. My uncle is one of the past presidents of the club. Uncle wants me to cook for them a couple nights a week. I do. Whole boomer club gives me shit. And I don't get paid. Somehow the bar loses money. But the kitchen makes money, so when my uncle heard, he fired me. To quote my uncle, "We need you back. The kitchen is keeping the lights on here right now." So I made a deal with my uncle and the current president. If they won't pay me, I would like a 12-pack of those mocha coffees, about $32 as an appreciation gift. They both said sure. The morning I had to go do some shopping for tonight's dinner, and was going to get my coffees. Picked up my uncle and off we go. We get to the register and my uncle separated the pack of coffee from the rest, and said I'm going to pay for it. The treasurer is bitching, saying if we get that for you it makes you a paid employee. Now, to his credit, I still got the coffees. What's it matter who paid for them? Well, to me it does. And it's the principle. We get in the truck and I said call treasurer's name please, rings a few times and she picks up. Conversation goes like this. Me, hey name, it's Op. Treasurer, hey Op, how's it going? Me, I'm just going to cut the small talk. Why can't I get a pack of coffees? Treasurer, that would make you a paid employee and you're a volunteer. Me, cool. In that case I'm done volunteering for you. If you want me back, my daily rate is $150 cash, not by check or invoice. Let me know if you want dinner tonight or not. And hang up. Let's see how this pans out. Update 2. So after getting off the phone with the treasurer this morning, I headed up to the club to unload the groceries and supplies I picked up today. After unloading, I sat outside answering comments on my previous post and sipping on the coffees my uncle bought me, waiting on the treasurer to show up. And oh boy, let me tell you about how that went. Treasurer shows up and goes right into the kitchen, sees zero prep work has been done. When she got there, dinner service was about 4 hours away. She comes outside and sees me scrolling on my phone, and here's how that conversation went. Dinner starts in 4 hours. Why haven't you started prep yet? Me, did you think I was kidding about being paid? Do you have the $150 I told you I wanted? Well, no, but I was gracious enough to stop and get you the pack of coffees you wanted. Me, how thoughtful of you to fill that bare minimum obligation current president's name promised me, but that is no longer my concern. If that makes me a paid employee, I'm going to get paid. Flabbergasted that I wasn't kidding about payment. We have a meeting next week, and we will discuss paying you then. Me, okay, cool, call me next week then. I then grabbed the coffee pack, threw it in my truck, and went home. I'm currently chilling on the couch playing some video games and going to enjoy the rest of my night. I'll update in the comments if anything changes. Update 3. I'm going to post links to the previous posts for the context at the bottom of this. Trust me, if you love being petty, it's worth the read. So today was the day. The House Committee came to a vote on how we are going to proceed, and the future of the kitchen here. My uncle fought hard for me to get paid, but the vote came back one yes and the rest no. Take a guess at who was the yes. After work I was coming up to the club to give my uncle a ride home, and was approached by my uncle and a few of the committee. After being told that the vote to pay me $150 a day was denied, the committee approved a proposal. Here's how that went. HC, we denied your rate of. Me, okay uncle. You ready to go? HC, I wasn't done. Me, you said it was denied. I don't want to hear any further. Then I left. On the way home my uncle told me the proposal was that I would be allowed 1 12-pack of my coffees a week, what I originally asked for, and he was the only one to vote no against it. I know, not the most dramatic conclusion, and my rate has since gone up to $200 a day if they want me back. But damn, cutting off the House Committee spokesperson was perfection.